Have you guys ever noticed that when tragedy strikes and when the worst things happen, people really show you who they are? And that could not be more true than it is right now. And what we're seeing is that when it comes to the marginalized and the disadvantaged and people that actually need help, we're finding out who actually cares about these people versus those who just say that they do. Welcome to my channel, Outspoken Samantha. If you are new here, welcome. I do appreciate you clicking on the video to watch it. And since you are here, I would love it if you would help me to grow this channel and hit that subscribe button now. And also make sure that your notifications are turned on so that you never miss an upload or a live stream. And of course, to those of you that are returning, you know how much I truly do appreciate your continued support. And I would love it if you would make sure that you are subscribed as well. So there has been some drama unfolding over on TikTok over the last few days, and it's regarding this account by this woman named MamaTot / Ophelia. And she's someone that has almost 13 million followers. And from the minimal exposure that I've had to her content, she's someone who creates videos based on her daily activities. She's funny, she has a southern accent, and her account pretty much has nothing to do with politics for the most part. At the top of her profile, she does have her pronouns listed. And from what others have said, those who know her content far better than I do, they have said that she is an LGBTQ ally and has given at least some indication in the past about her political leanings without ever outright saying anything. But for the most part, people across the political spectrum love her because she is this breath of fresh air and she just focuses on positivity and having fun. And people know that they can go to her account and virtually hang out with this woman who seems like she would just be a great friend to anyone. And they don't have to worry about being bombarded with political messages like we are with everything else these days. So she seems to offer a small break from that, which is really, really nice. However, recently she has come under fire after posting on TikTok that she was heartbroken for the Hurricane Helene victims and feeling emotional about how they don't seem to be getting help fast enough and that these people just lost everything and just kind of wondering what is being done for them. And apparently, this is something that just set TikTok on fire. And from what I know, this was that video.
You ain't mad? Because I'm mad as hell. You know that mad that you just get so angry that you just cry about it? You're so mad you just cry about it. That's how mad I am. Like, they have lost everything. Everything. Imagine walking outside of your house and seeing nothing that you ever worked hard for just gone. I've seen houses just completely just slide down the mountain. I'm seeing people making videos because they can't find family members. How are they supposed to apply for something if they don't have electricity that does not get their baby fed in this moment? Like, the job they had, the building is gone. Like, how is nobody mad? I'm so fucking mad.
Now, the reason I say that I'm slightly unsure if that was the original video is because people kept saying that she deleted it, but the comments on this particular video are turned off. So I'm thinking that there was just a lot of angry commenters who were blocked after becoming unhinged, like so many people tend to do. Now, the response from the left, shockingly or unshockingly at this point, is that this woman was spreading misinformation. And this is one gal who said as much.
Video when she got negative in MamaTot. Let me tell you what's happening. So MamaTot, you know, the lady who's like, let me sit with you for a minute. Let's eat lunch together. You know, really nice Southern lady. So she got on the internet and she posted a video, very emotional, talking about how FEMA aid or hurricane relief was not helping people who had their whole houses just like completely destroyed and their lives completely upended. She was very emotional about it. Now, the problem is MamaTot is out there spreading mis and disinformation with that post. And not only did she post that, but she also was deleting comments that tried to tell her the actual true situation that's happening. And then she deleted the video once she got negative press. I'm not saying I'm canceling MamaTot. I'm just saying that as somebody who has a really, really big following, MamaTot knows better. She's been doing this for a long time, and she knows better than to post political information and government policies without researching them beforehand in order to avoid spreading misinformation.
So let me tell you what I find so funny about this clip, aside from the fact that after watching the video of MamaTot that we just watched, if that is the one that she is responding to, I have a hard time understanding what misinformation that she is referring to. But aside from that, as the situation has been unfolding on TikTok over the last few days, a video popped up of this woman who is actually the moderator of MamaTot's account. She said that she is the one who decides which comments get deleted, who blocks people, and who oversees her account. She said she doesn't delete comments for people expressing their own opinions or even disagreeing with MamaTot, but she will delete people who are attacking her or who are calling her names or who are fighting in the comments, because she says her role is to protect MamaTot's mental health, which I totally understand, because having that many followers, I'm sure it would get exhausting being constantly bombarded with people's craziness, and being online is not for the faint of heart. Even with the small following that I have on social media, I have to take breaks at times, because sometimes it's just very tiring to constantly hear what people have to say and how negative people can be. Just to dispel some of the things that people say, I never delete any comments. A lot of times I just ignore them, and I know that YouTube has their own way of like deciding which comments to stay and which ones go, which a lot of people have told me about, but it is exhausting. So I can't imagine what this is like, especially with how despicable some of these keyboard warriors have gotten. But what I find funny is that while this girl is criticizing people for spreading misinformation and not doing their own research, she can't even be bothered to do a little bit of research about why some of these comments might be disappearing, or about why some people can't see the video anymore. Claiming to be so smart that you want to lecture people about doing research, yet it doesn't even occur to you that maybe the block button is being utilized right now. Just a thought. But aside from all of that, what misinformation is she spreading? Ma'am, if you have seen the countless videos of people getting online, if they can get internet at all, and sharing what is really happening, in order for you to have the opinion that you just shared, you would have to be getting your information from people who are not in this situation, who have not been to these areas, and who are only posting their views on social media, promising that these agencies are working their butts off because that is what they have been told by the news or by Democrats, despite the countless reports of people who are actually living through it saying the exact opposite. And just as a little side note, I have learned that the people who say do some research and educate yourself, they tend to be the least informed and the least educated people in society today. Like, it's a dead giveaway that I'm talking to someone who has done no research if they use the phrase do some research, because I know for a fact at that point that they themselves have not actually done any. But this guy in particular is upset about MamaTot, along with this other account by the name of Officer Yudi, who basically posted a video that said the same things that MamaTot was saying, and he's really worried that people are going to hear her or him and be upset and start asking questions and thinking for themselves. Just listen.
You know what upsets me most about people like MamaTot and Officer Yudi? Spreading misinformation and lies, especially when they don't apologize for it. They refuse to apologize for it, is the fact that, believe it or not, they can sway voters. They have the ability, with millions and millions of followers, to sway an election. So if their followers are on the fence about who they're going to vote for, and then they perpetuate all this misinformation because they don't care to do the research, they can sway a vote. And Trump could win this election.
Great, now do Oprah, J-Lo, Meryl Streep, and Taylor Swift. But basically, he's worried that if people get upset and start really digging into what's happening, that they're going to realize how badly this administration has failed, as many whistleblowers are coming forward and stating, and they're going to learn the truth, and they're not going to vote for Kamala Harris. And it's just my interpretation of things, but that's what it sounds like to me. And it also sounds like to me that this guy has clearly bought into this idea that censorship is needed. Again, just my opinion. But wouldn't it be a wake-up call in your own head that if you feel like the only way your candidate can win is to silence people who might make others ask questions, and you need people to only hear from one side because if they hear anything else, they won't support your candidate anymore? I mean, if your candidate has the best ideas, the best track record, and demonstrates the best leadership, people will vote for them. They will see that and they will make that decision, and you don't need censorship. So it says everything about how weak you feel like your side is if you feel like you need to silence everything else but what you want people to hear in order to win. Again, just a thought. But anyway, that has been the gist of the response from the left and their reaction to what MamaTot said. And as we can hear, she wasn't political. She didn't criticize anyone or call anyone out. She didn't mention a political party or say who she was voting for or encourage people to vote either way. She just said that she was sad for these people. And interestingly, because she said she was sad for them and worried about them and frustrated with the level of help that they were receiving and that they seemed to be ignored in their time of need, people automatically associated that viewpoint with being MAGA. And I love what this woman had to say about that.
All over my FYP today, we're all hearing, is MamaTot MAGA? It's all over my FYP today. We're all hearing about it. Everyone's freaking out because MamaTot is MAGA. Except for that she for sure never said anything even remotely close to that. She said she was mad. She was mad that the people who are impacted by the hurricane aren't getting the help that they need fast enough, and that life is hard enough as it is, and then this happens, and it just makes you mad that this situation is what it is. That's what she said. That's literally the extent of what she said. How fascinating it is to see half of TikTok freak out and say that by saying that, she's coming out as MAGA. Does that mean that Democrats aren't upset about what's happening and that they don't want hurricane victims to get help? Like, MamaTot is openly an LGBTQ ally. She is very kind and accepting of all different demographics of people. She never gets political at all. But because she said she's upset that hurricane victims aren't getting the support that they need fast enough, she's MAGA. That's fascinating.
Like, how would that not be a wake-up call to you if you were on the left? That if someone actually genuinely expresses outrage about people who are struggling, then you automatically assume that person is MAGA. Like, you hear this cry for compassion and for help and for assistance, and people don't automatically think of the left, the people that proclaim to be the party of tolerance, acceptance, and love, which is just mind-boggling. But to me, it's a huge compliment because we're the ones that you automatically associate with actual compassion, not with just like compassion in word and in activism, but in actually how we treat people and how we respond to people in need. And that just says to me about the left that you guys only actually want to help people that you decide are victims and when you decide that they deserve it, which is a very communist/Marxist way of thinking, and you don't even realize it. Picking winners and losers and being willing to let good, innocent people suffer if they don't fall into the appropriate victim categories. And this guy appropriately called out the left for all of their BS in response to this.
But damn it, if some of y'all don't make it absolutely impossible to be a good person, to do the right thing, to try and speak up for the people who can't speak up for themselves. A lot of the folks who are currently in this very moment under fire from really large sections of the progressive left have done nothing but be the best ally that they could possibly be. Platforming trans voices, people of color's voices, Black people's voices, hosting charities, concerts, donations, GoFundMes, unapologetically centering a lot of their career around uplifting all of these communities, only for y'all to get on here and say shit like, I never liked this person. I always got bad vibes. I've always seen through the facade. My brother in Christ, if it is a facade, good. The facade of platforming all of these people, they've done 1,000 times more than 99.9% of y'all sitting on here and criticizing the shit out of them. I'm going to end this and say one last thing. There is a point in the progressive liberal left spectrum that you can orient your values and ethics so tightly around an idea or movement that you have politically turned all the way around and you have lost sight of the reason that you are a progressive liberal in the first place. To make the world a better place for everybody else, you're not. You are actually making it vastly harder, despite what you are being fed in the echo chambers that you exist within. If what I just said upsets you, good. I hope that anger sparks a level of critical thinking and self-awareness that I don't believe a lot of you had before. Much love. Have a good day. Damn, this is a long one.
Honestly, I have yet to hear anybody articulate a reason to be on the progressive left other than the right to kill the unborn and mutilate children. But we constantly hear from the left that you guys care so much about people who need help, and you're about the working class, and you're about the middle class, and that you're the party of compassion and tolerance and fighting misinformation. However, we see the hypocrisy every single day, and it's things like this that just amplify it. And you would rather people stay quiet about losing everything in their lives than risk your candidate losing. And you would rather ignore than face the fact that these agencies that we pay our tax dollars to are giving everything to everybody else on planet Earth except for those of us that they actually do need to be looking out for. And you would rather ignore people that are suffering from rampant crime, inflation, lack of emergency assistance than let anybody even question your side of the aisle. It is far more important to you to continue having that support than to acknowledge the amount of suffering that people are actually experiencing in everyday life. And it's not even just conservatives and MAGA people that you want to shut down for spreading misinformation. You're going to attack people in your own party who have done everything from fight for your causes to fly your flags to using your pronouns. You will shut them down immediately for dissent and refuse to acknowledge their concerns, and in turn refuse to solve the thing that they're concerned about, and therefore allow that problem to continue before demonstrating even a speck of the compassion that you claim to have. We've seen more people suffering and becoming disadvantaged in the last few years than any of us have probably ever witnessed in our lifetimes. Yet the more we point it out, what people are actually going through and truly living through, the madder the left gets. And it does not matter if you are someone who has sided with them or voted with them or rallied with them. If you disagree with them on any level, no matter how insane it is, they will come after you and they will silence you and they will ignore everyone that you are trying to help. It's just baffling how effective the mainstream media brainwashing has been to get their base to focus so hard on hating Trump and hating the right that they are so willing to ignore every single problem that has been caused by their own party, because there's so much devastation happening right in front of our faces. Yet you guys, the party of compassion and tolerance and love and help, are trying to turn a blind eye to it and silence anybody that calls attention to it. And what that does is make these problems impossible to solve. It makes the suffering impossible to address, and it keeps the hopelessness that people are feeling going. And what makes these problems astronomically worse is to pretend that they're not happening, to call people liars who are telling you what they're dealing with and what they're struggling with, and to blame literally everybody under the sun for these problems besides the people who are actually responsible for what is going on. But this is why so many people today are walking away from the left, and it's not because they've become MAGA, it's not because they love Trump, it's not because they've completely lost their minds, it's because of the things that you guys are doing. Because these people do care. They do want to see this country thrive. They do want to see these problems solved. And they recognize that silencing people and using words like misinformation to shut down legitimate and necessary conversations just makes things worse, and that anybody who does that are the ones that are actually holding us down, and they don't want to be a part of that anymore. Anyway, I would love to hear all of your thoughts on this in the comments below. Please be sure to hit that like button. Make sure that you are subscribed. Keep it real, guys, and I will see you in the next one.